Today we're going to share a more serious and heavy story. A few weeks ago, I put out a video talking about insuring and securing your Pokemon collection as it starts to accrue a little bit of value. And I knew that that was an important video to put out. Well, someone who had watched that video recently reached out to me to tell me that their house was broken into and they lost over $40,000 Canadian, so probably 35,000 USD. Everything they had spent a year building up through vending and collecting and doing deals. He reached out to me hoping that we can share a little bit of his story and share some of the learnings so that other people can avoid the same fate that he ran into. Unfortunately, we just live in a world and a time where things like this are happening, and in our specific hobby it's happening more and more now that there's more media attention on the value of the cards. So I was able to have a candid conversation with Zach to talk through everything that happened and what he's learned from it. It's gonna be a lot of actionable stuff, and obviously it's a horrible story, so at the end I'll share a little bit of information on how you can reach out and support Zach if you feel like doing so after watching this conversation. I will start by saying, I'm sorry this happened to you. All I know about it is that you got about $45,000 Canadian stolen, and it
Yeah.
was a breaking and entering in your home, right?
Yeah. It's just like it's the privacy aspect and just like what people are like the extent that people are going through to
Yeah.
just get money these days. And I think like obviously Pokemon media, it's really popular right now. I think there's a lot of people like me where it's like we start doing the hustle and then it's just like you're just carrying around all this. Like I haven't had this much before in
Yeah.
my life and like earned it that. Yeah. So
Can you walk me through, I guess, just start with what happened, and then we'll just kind of dig in from there.
um basically I was at work and I got a call from my girlfriend. She was like, hey, like, why'd you leave the front door unlocked? Why'd you leave your room open? Like, you never do that. Like, she went into my room and she was like, did you go do like a big Pokemon deal like you do? Because like all your stuff's gone. And I was like, what are you talking about? And she's just like, well, like none of your Pokemon stuff is here. Like, did you just like, because it's kind of normal for me to just go out and do deals at this point. She's just
Yeah,
like, oh yeah, another day for him. But
sure.
I was at work and she started freaking out and she's like, what about like the cash from the last deal that you earned? And I told her where it was and everything was gone. And then she went downstairs and she found out that someone had broken in through like a really small window, basically like a blind spot on our house, and they snuck in. And like what creeps me out a lot about this is I feel like I must have been watched or followed
Yeah.
for a while because there is a very small time period from when I leave and my girlfriend gets here. And so it's just like it like we went through the ring footage. We can only see them leaving,
Mm,
or we can see basically there's someone right after I leave that walks and stops in front of the house and just stands there for a little bit. And
mhm.
then what I've gathered is they went outside the range. They hopped some fences, which our neighbors are elderly, and there's no like ring footage or cameras on their end.
Yeah.
And it was basically within 10 minutes of me leaving the house, they were already in there.
So this was just during the day. You said you left
It
for
was
work.
it was 2:30 in the day, and I'm right next to a school. And like, yeah, it's just broad daylight.
I think you had shared that fortunately no one was hurt, like your pets weren't hurt,
Hmm.
your girlfriend
Yeah.
weren't hurt. So
Yeah.
obviously that's a silver lining in this. But
Hmm.
so did they broke a window? Like how like you came home to a shattered window, or what was how did they
Yeah.
get in?
Yeah, it was a shattered window, which like after this I can send you the image
Yeah,
of the
please do.
window.
Yeah.
Um, but from looking at the footage again of them leaving, they have gloves, masks, like steel toe boots, like
Mm.
uh they were clearly prepared.
Have you, I assume you've like filed a police report and stuff?
That was the first thing that I
Yeah.
did. I kind of have like some suspicions
Yeah.
around it.
Yeah.
The first one is last weekend. There was basically like the biggest show in Canada. It's in Toronto.
Hmm.
It's very, very hard to get into and it's very expensive. And unfortunately, like I'm still quite new and I could have gotten a table, but it was a little too pricey.
Okay.
But then we ended up having a local show that day. So I'm like, oh, like I'm gonna for sure do that instead. And when I showed up to it, it was, normally I'm not like the big fish in the room. There's lots of other guys just that have so much more. But that day, I was kind of like the guy. Like if
Hmm.
someone needed cash for cards, I had it. A lot of like, like your typical like IRs. I had slabs, I had sealed. Like I really did have like everything. And most of the other people in this like small little show, it's like more so binder stuff. So like one of my theories is someone going to that show could have seen how much I have, considering you see the price tags of everything and how compact it is. I could have been easily followed because, people, I don't know, they ask like, oh, like, are you kind of close to here? I won't say like necessarily where I am, but like it's pretty normal to be like, yeah, like I'm relatively close or something like that.
So you said you have your suspicions. How do you think they figured out where you live?
I either, again, I have like two theories. It's either I was followed
Yeah.
or it was tipped off by someone that I know or close to me, which this is again something we can get into, but I don't do deals at my house.
Yeah.
And the last time that I was doing stuff at my house was when I was selling like an ETB or like stuff for like master set, like very like just like genuine collectors
Hmm.
stuff. Like they're not going after like a PSA 10 like
Hmm.
Gengar V Max or something. Like none of that stuff. It was just like basic stuff, and like pretty quickly I was like, yeah, I don't really want people at my house unless it was close friends or there has been a vendor or two, but it's been
Hmm.
someone who's just been in the community for so long. And to me, I feel like I have a pretty good judge of character.
Sure.
And I'm really not just gonna let anyone come in here. And then also I don't invite them into my room. It's like, hey, like I bring this stuff out. I bring some stuff out. I don't tell them what I have and everything. One of the things though is I do post on social media. I don't have a big following, but one of my goals is just to grow through Instagram. And one of the things I do is like I was doing for a while is like weekly uploads of like, hey, this is what I did, this is what I grabbed, this is where I'm at. And the last video that I did, I showed me being like, hey, like let's see where I'm at. Like let me go through all my inventory. So I laid it out all like on my desk and like just went through everything, really quick, short reel. But one of the things that I noticed is like I used to have packs on my wall here and the odd time I do open a blind. And so like that kind of does give someone a sense like if they were scoping something out, like that's where he does his stuff. If
Yeah.
like I did have my blind open, you can see a couple of the packs from like depending where you're looking on the wall. Okay, he does his Pokemon stuff. He does his deals there. And then it's one of those safety things I was gonna bring up is I was getting to a point where I was mailing out a lot of stuff, like
Yep.
going into groups all the time, and it's pretty normal to everyone wants a timestamp. It doesn't matter if they grab stuff or not. Hey, it's just like, can I get a timestamp sort of deal? And when you mail stuff off, something that was on the back of my mind was like, I should get a PO box soon.
Hmm.
Like this is really growing to like a crazy point, and I'm doing this all the time.
Yeah.
But it really like it happened like everything just grew pretty quickly
Yeah.
and so like I was just always sending stuff out. And if I sent like a timestamp, you've probably dealt with this online. You try like make a deal and then they just ignore you. And it's just
Yeah.
so normal for someone to just read it and you're like, okay, move on, sort of deal. But when you send out like packages,
Yeah.
whether it's tracked or not, like my address is on
Yeah.
there. So,
It's such a great tip, and I was going to ask about that. This is
mhm,
something that I also felt was as it started gaining a little bit of traction for me. I had that feeling of like, oh, someone could buy something from me just to get my address from the
mhm,
shipping label and figure out where I live, and they would know that I have Pokemon cards there. So I invested in doing a PO box, and it does cost whatever $40 a month or something like that for the PO box that I have. But for me, that peace of mind, again, it's like that sort of an insurance policy, and I have anything that I ship or get shipped to me, I get sent
mhm.
to my PO box unless I am dealing with somebody that I really know personally. So
Yeah.
that's a great tip, and I really I couldn't agree more that that's something that people should be cognizant of. One thing I was curious about, sort of related to that, going back to you said you had people come over to your house for deals. In those earlier days, you said it was just collectors. Like these weren't people that you had vetted, that you knew were vendors to the community. It was just maybe someone you found on Facebook Marketplace or whatever, and you're like, oh, whatever. Like it's a one ETB thing. I'm a decent judge of character. They seem okay. Like, were those
Yeah.
kinds of deals, or were they people like prominent in the community?
So really early on, I wasn't able to drive because when I did start all this, like I had some pretty big surgeries, so I wasn't able to drive anywhere.
Yeah.
And the stuff that I was dealing with was like master sets with like reverse hollows, common cards, and then like some like ETBs and like booster bundles and stuff. Uh, I would get people to just meet me out on my front porch sort of deal,
Yeah.
which like I didn't think I was really gonna go this far into the hobby, so that's not
Sure.
something I really took too seriously. I mean, most
Yeah.
people do like mailbox pickups on Marketplace and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's I wanted to bring that one up because I don't no conjecture until a police report hopefully
Hmm.
finds these people, and hopefully you get as much of your stuff back as you can, and hopefully we essentially get that the person or people that did this face consequences for it. But I've also I've never done deals at my house other than for people that were prominent vendors or they're other content creators or they're people I've dealt with for a long time. I probably know a similar amount about them as they do about me. So if I saw them on a
Yeah.
Ring camera, like I know their addresses too, kind of thing, you know? This is like it's only people that I really feel are very unlikely to negatively take advantage of knowing my home address or the city that I
Yeah.
live in or whatever. Otherwise, I've always met up with people at a grocery store. Basically, I find a parking lot and you do the
Hmm.
deal in a grocery store parking lot out of the trunk of your car in a well-lit area with security cameras. So,
So just
yeah,
kind of like adding on to that, like the few people that I have had over, it's
yeah,
been people that are like the couple vendors. It's people that have just been doing this for so long. And like I've just basically all these people, I've gone to their houses
right.
as well too. And again, like judge of character, which yeah, there's just I don't have people over and any deals that I have done have basically either been at a Tim Hortons or like a police station.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So fair to say, like early on, as you were getting into it, you're like, oh, just, occasionally I'll sell or trade something like many people do when they
Hmm.
get into a hobby like this. And then you got more into it than you were originally anticipating, where you're like, oh, I'm going to build up an inventory. I'm going to start vending at shows.
Yeah.
And once you started making that transition, you're like, I need to be a lot more cautious. But
Yeah.
maybe like that wasn't on your radar early on, right? As much.
Nah.
Yeah. What other takeaways are there, like things that you wish you had done differently now that you're dealing with the reality of having had this stuff stolen?
I mean, telling people what you're doing necessarily, like I think like I don't go around telling people what I do, but like let's say like if someone talks about Pokemon at work, it's pretty what like known that like hey, like I can either get you a card or like we can trade something or like I can kind of help you out or they like if they're into Pokemon, like I let them know hey, I'm gonna be at the local show uh this Saturday. So there is like I don't know, just maybe like telling a couple coworkers that I'm going to a show I didn't think was bad, but maybe I'm just like paranoid now of like just such a breach of privacy that like it could be anyone at this. It could be like coworkers, it could be someone I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also like, I have a banner and if you go to a show, you get to just scan my banner and basically see like what I'm doing and what I have. And like that's very like I don't think it's out of the realm for people to just like post like, hey, this is my collection.
Yeah.
Like I see it. It's
All the
all the
time.
time.
Yeah.
People, most vendors, they're just like they post their
Yep.
collector and their bio and they're like, this is my inventory sort of deal. And so it's like I'm partially like I don't want to beat myself up over it because I don't think what I did was wrong as far
Yeah.
as like social media and I
Yeah.
wasn't like this is where I am sort of deal. I just think like, hey, maybe I should have been more secure with like my blinds or I do think like as far as like security after shows and just being careful like where you're going, like especially if you're doing a local show, it might be good to just stop by somewhere for a little bit and like
Hmm.
either stop by like a friend's place or just go chill somewhere else and no, don't just go straight home. Especially in a smaller community. Like I'm not in the States or in like a super populated area. Like for me to go to the big shows, it's about an hour and a half or
Mm.
two for
Wow.
drives.
Mm.
So like most of like the local shows and stuff like that, it's like there's not too much going on. But for me, like those are always like the best buying opportunities, right?
Right, but there are shows that are closer to you where an hour and a half of following someone home from a show would be
That's unrealistic.
right.
Like
It's
that's
possible,
probably not gonna happen,
right?
but
But
I
15 minutes or 20 minutes or something, right? Yeah,
very, very close. Yeah,
yeah,
that's where I think it's realistic
yeah,
for someone to do. Like if you're gonna, I don't know, I've never followed anyone, but if you are, like, I wouldn't imagine you'd want to go. Like it'd be pretty hard after 20 minutes, like trying to like turn at this light and like it would just be too much of a
yeah.
mess.
Yeah, I've said a lot of these things in videos. I did a video on
Hmm.
securing and insuring your collection. I've said it in a
Yep.
podcast that I do every couple weeks. I've talked about I know it sounds a little paranoid, but when I am leaving shows, I am watching whether I am noticing anyone behind me, and I never have. But like if someone's
Hmm.
behind me for long enough, I will take note of it. And like you said, I might take a different turn and like go
Yeah.
somewhere weird or I don't know, whatever it is. I mean, I also don't think you should after a show like park your car full of inventory and go get lunch where you can't see your
No,
car.
no,
Like you
no.
shouldn't do that either. But yeah, I've said it before. Like I don't think it sounds paranoid, but I don't think it's unreasonably paranoid to keep an eye out for things like that. Like don't send things from your home address. Don't receive
Hmm.
packages to your home address. Don't do deals at your home address. If you have more than, a few tens of thousands of dollars, I have said this in a video that you might want to consider putting it in different locations, right? I mean, it's like
Yeah.
it that's what I've chosen to do is my stuff is dispersed. I guess what other and by the way, just to be clear, you shouldn't beat yourself up over this. Like no
Hmm.
one should operate as though you should not live with the expectation that your stuff is going to get
Yeah.
targeted and your house is going to get cased and people are going to steal your stuff. Like this is not your fault. It is the fault of people who make
Yeah.
really insane choices like breaking into somebody's house and taking on all of the risk and consequence and bodily harm to yourself or other people or
Hmm.
whatever, right? I mean, it's just you have to be somebody who really does not value your own life to decide that. So that is not your responsibility. But as we're thinking through, like, you reach out to me wanting to get this, wanting to share this story so that other
Yeah.
people could learn from some of the things that you're like, in hindsight, I would have been more paranoid about these things. Are there other things, like as an example, more automated central security beyond
Yeah.
just cameras? Do you feel like that would be a worthwhile investment? Is that something you're thinking about doing now? Like, do you have that and it didn't trip or it did trip, or like, what are your thoughts on that sort of thing?
So leading off with like the insurance thing, that was a video that I watched from you like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
And I was like, yeah, this is getting to a point where if I lost all this, like this is like everything I put into for like the past year. Like I
yeah,
really gave it my all. And then, I have like five different insurance companies that I'm all just like looking through, getting quotes, seeing how they go about doing certain things. Basically, this weekend was the two of the biggest shows that I was gonna do, and I planned on selling off some of my inventory for more stuff to protect my inventory, like a safe. I was planning on just buying a safe. I'm like, I'd rather just sell off like one big slab, get a safe, protect it all. It wasn't like I should just do this right now.
yeah,
And then the home security thing too is like I I do have security. I have Ring cameras, but I don't have like anything that would trip,
yeah,
which is and then also like they hit like a blind spot on the house, which makes me like really think like this was planned out. But I would, yeah, highly recommend more home securities,
yeah,
especially depending on the neighborhood that you're in. And then also like I don't normally just keep everything here. Kind of like what you said, if you're gonna lose everything, I don't want to lose it all at once, but I have to prepare for shows at some point and bring it back here.
yeah,
And that's what I did. They just think they got so lucky, like just having like everything align of like I'm sure they didn't know that I didn't have home security or that like my stuff would be here. They banked on me not having a safe. Like I mean like it really worked out. Like
yeah,
the risk really worked out for them. But like you said, like breaking and entering is a very serious decision that you make. And especially like part of me questions like I have two dogs. Did they know that they were gonna be like friendly?
yeah,
Like, does that mean that they've met them before?
yeah,
Stuff like that, I really do question. None of this is gonna stop me from trying to do like what I want to do. Like, I really do enjoy vending a lot. I love it. I've met a lot of really cool people. One thing people can't take away is the experience. Like, I know what moves, what doesn't. I know what to buy,
yeah,
what not to buy. And then I've been very fortunate with my community. I've like right now, like two of the bigger vendors in the community are basically just like rallying up donations to try to help me vend again.
yeah,
And then like I posted a GoFundMe and I've gotten a couple donations from that and I've appreciated all of that. So a lot of the goals that I did have, yeah, they're majorly set back. Like I have a lot of goals within the hobby and things that I wanted to do. But no, this will be something that I'll work towards and just now I have just extra like I have more knowledge now,
yeah,
safety, what I need to do, all that. Yeah, I don't know, man. It sucks that like this really was something I put everything into for the past year. Like it was basically school, work, Pokemon. That was my grind. Purely like it was basically like my job. I was constantly grinding it and I feel really dumb for just not taking those extra steps.
mm,
And maybe that's like again like I'm vending. But even if it's like you're just a genuine collector, like if you build your stuff up, like you gotta protect it. And like some stuff you're just like you want to enjoy. Like all my sealed stuff, like I see you had your sealed stuff like in your storage, but just like you, I think it's cool to have my Evolving Skies box on there. Like
Yeah.
it makes me so happy. Like I would see that and I'm like, that's so cool that I have that. And just like same with some of like the other sealed or like there's a lot of cards that I had that were just irreplaceable, like stuff that I don't know, I looked for so long that like
Yeah.
I'm not gonna buy the 10. I'm gonna grade it myself. Like I had really cool cards like Blues Tactics and Mewtwo V-Star, like just like really cool cards and yeah, that stuff's just all gone.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man. One last question. I'm bouncing back a little bit, but I thought about
Hmm.
this. Like you mentioned you got Evolving Skies box, and I imagine you had a variety of, did they take literally everything? Like, was it packaged in a way where they could just grab one thing and go through that window? Or you think they walked out the front door and came back in multiple times? Like they made
No,
multiple trips
so
or,
the way that I had, so I'm a one-man army with my vending, and the way that I've really done things is everything's pretty compact. It's like I have my slab case, which
yeah.
can fill up like 1 to 2 displays, and then I have all my raw cards. And again, paranoia, I showed in the video, like me taking this stuff out. Now they know, like, okay, like I might not know where his like stuff is, but I know I'm more than likely looking for these specific cases for slabs and singles. So yeah, it was very compact and they could just basically aside from the sealed, which I feel like would it be kind of a pain, yeah, they could take everything in one go.
Yeah. So I think to try to summarize some of these takeaways, be conscious of shipping things to and from your
Hmm.
place. Be conscious of who's coming over to your place or knows the address to your house, especially if you're posting anything on social media, which many people do.
Yep.
So like you should be able
Yep.
to do that without fear of getting targeted.
Yeah.
Um, ensure your stuff, store it if you can in a safe. Consider send like a central alarm system if you're going to keep
Hmm.
a lot in your house. Zach,
And with shows, oh, sorry.
no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I hope more shows consider just like bumping up their security.
Yeah,
There is some shows that I've been to where it's just like there's nothing. You go into the parking lot, it's just like good luck sort of deal. And then there's other shows where you pay that extra money to have the police there when you're
yeah,
leaving. That is a massive difference. Every time there's been police at shows, I feel so much safer.
yeah, yeah. Agreed. Okay, Zach, I really appreciate you reaching out to me and,
Yeah.
and being open to sharing. It requires a level of vulnerability. It's like a somewhat traumatic thing. I mean, part of the reason I'm careful about this
Yeah.
stuff is it would suck to get this stuff stolen, but the invasion of privacy is like it's hard to put a price on like how painful that would be to
Yeah.
deal with and how much you'd be willing to give up to avoid it. So, hopefully helps people learn from your story and not your responsibility. But again, I recognize that it requires a level of vulnerability to say, hey, I can't help but feel dumb that I didn't do these 5 or 6 things
Hmm.
that I could have done. But I think there's going to be tens of thousands of people that watch it and they go, yep, I don't consider any of those things
Yeah.
either, or I only consider 3 of those 6 things or whatever. And it's very
And
easy
that's what I
to,
want
yeah,
is
yeah,
for people. There's a lot of vendors that are growing really quickly, and there's
yeah,
a lot of money in this. And I just want people to learn from this. And it sucks that I had to be that person.
yeah,
And like, I mean, you do see it, but like, this wasn't gunpoint. This wasn't
yeah,
a bad deal. This was just pure invasion of my
yeah,
house.
yeah,
Um, I have really appreciated talking to you. Basically, there's one guy in the community and you where I've learned most of how to vend,
yeah,
negotiating, just uh, I do appreciate you reaching out.
yeah,
Or like I
absolutely.
guess like getting back to me.
Yeah, of course.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Ricky.
Zach. Yeah, best of luck with everything, okay?
Thank you. Take it
Alrighty.
easy.
You too.
Thanks again to Zach for reaching out and being willing to share what he's gone through and what he's learned from that experience. And fortunately, he's got a good community around him, and he's planning to rebuild. And that's what I usually see when people get robbed at shows or from their homes or whatever it is, their cars get broken into. They tend to rally and rebuild, and their people rally around them. So really speaks to the strength of the hobby and the community being greater than the pain of these sorts of things just being a reality that you have to sort of watch out for. So hopefully this inspires you if you are a Pokemon collector, if you're posting anything social media, if you're a vendor, if you're selling things online. The honest truth is, if you have more than $10,000 USD of Pokemon cards and anyone else in the world knows about it, you need to take these sorts of things into consideration and be careful and cautious. If you want to support Zach, I'll leave his GoFundMe link in the description below and in the comments. Obviously, no obligation, but if any of you do decide to do that, I will personally match up to $250 USD to help support Zach in that. So if you do donate to his GoFundMe, leave a comment or send me a DM or something just showing the receipt or the amount, and we can kind of help him get back on his feet because he plans to keep trucking along despite this. Given there's an ongoing police investigation here, and obviously Zach is being vulnerable in sharing this story at all in the first place, I will be a little bit more sensitive to moderation of comments here, so stay respectful in the comments. I know my viewers generally are, but videos like this sometimes reach a different audience, so just keep in mind, Zach is a real person and it's a real experience that he's gone through. If you are seeing this video, I've vetted it myself and believe the story to be 100% true, so take that for what it's worth, and stay safe out there. Till I see you in the next one.